because many years we go on say that no service. Always remember it's only issue served in the month of October. While challenging it, you have to keep in mind this Punjab and Haryana High Court, especially try to address on this General Clauses Act. According to me, the Punjab and Haryana High Court decision is not correct. I will come to that. We'll have need a session for that, so we'll discuss separately. But I am bringing it to subsequently there are various other high courts which have given a favorable, especially in the one case I have given that was earlier to the Punjab and Haryana High Court. SLP is also rejected. Thereafter, Allahabad High Court is there, but Allahabad High Court was only considering 292BB position. After that, now that it gains importance. Suppose there is a notice issue but not served, and you go and attend the proceedings, because they say that once you attend the proceedings, then you can't raise all these objections in the appellate stage. Allahabad High Court says that no, because it is jurisdictional point. But one thing I will always say, usually we advocates, what we do, anything comes, suppose a writ petition is filed and we have to file an affidavit in reply. He says that your name is Gopal. He said, okay, I object to this, say subject to this, I reserve my comments on this. So that's correct. Actually, I don't have anything to comment, but I reserve my right. And if any adverse conclusion has to be drawn, I should be given an opportunity to rebut it. Say that finding a fact, you are accepting it, how can it? So in that manner, they say that once, if you are providing certain information under protest, then 292 capital BB doesn't trigger. That's what they have put in the proviso. So my advice is, invariably, you should say that you have asked for these details. I know that they may not be relevant for my assessment, but under protest I am providing you. So somebody wants to say that, no, tonight I have under protest I have provided. So how they will deal with that, later we will see. But that shelter you can always take. I have given certain case laws as far as the evidence, the third party. VC Shukla, I was mentioning there. Anyway, in the next session, another colleague is coming, so he will deal with the other issues, suspicious dealers and all. I would not like to deal with them, but only one legal position I would like to say. Suppose any information during the course of the assessment, he informs that this is the information I have got with respect to certain things, and you have got something to hide. Best thing is you will first analyze where do you stand, and then put the facts in the proper perspective and submit. In the last line you put it, whatever you have alleged and whatever evidence you have done, please provide me the copy. Seek that. After you get it, then you examine it. Here, while dealing what information I have provided with respect to primary evidence, secondary evidence, and that, there is one more thing: circumstantial evidence, forensic evidence. In many cases, I had come across one case where certain signature was there and they were claiming it is the signature of that person, and we disputed it. No, that is not that person's signature. Then assisting officer said, I will refer it to the forensic report, I will call for that. The SSD was a little rattled. No, I have to verify whether one of my brothers have signed it, because this doesn't seem to be my brother's signature, but they may have signed my. Then we said, be careful. If you are claiming it, tomorrow it is proved, then you will be in a problem. Luckily, that was not the case. We got through. But what I am saying is, suppose you want to contest, you will have to keep that any information is providing. But to throw the burden of proof on the assisting officer, you will have to make the start. You can't say that your information, if you want to say you are making an allegation, then you say that no, like you say that this expenditure which you have claimed is bogus. This is not a genuine expenditure. Then first what you should do is, because onus is on you. Under Income Tax Act, you should put all the facts with respect to the claim in a proper perspective, and whatever evidence you have got to substantiate that material evidence, you should provide that. And thereafter you said that provide me the details. Because usually what will happen is, he may be having the material to puncture this very evidence which you are giving. He may have taken a statement to somebody, this is a bill I have issued, or this is not the genuine thing, I have never done it. But all that evidence which you want to contest, you have to first provide that. And thereafter you ask for that, and then ask for the cross-examination. Once you get it, you examine what exactly it is, and especially he says that such a person has given certain statement. Then, if suppose you want to counter that, there are 2-3 ways of that. Same person, if you are able to go back to him, get an affidavit from him. Here, affidavit, specifically Rahul had given me material about what is an affidavit, how it is to be treated. I have given in this slide, in my presentation. But under Income Tax Act, whenever we are giving an affidavit, certain things we have to keep in mind. I will start from the last part of affidavit. There should be a verification clause. In that verification clause, we should very well clearly, the person who is affirming the affidavit has to mention what is the statement he is making on the basis of the material facts, and what he is making on the basis of belief. He believes this thing to be true. That part has to be clearly mentioned, verification. Then move on to the first part. This is a statement, affidavit is made under oath. Once he makes a statement which is not factually correct and he is aware of that, then consequences can be very dangerous to him. And suppose, usually I have come across many cases when, especially in the gifts, there are gift deeds, there are confirmations, everything is there. Then we ask him, can you get an affidavit? No, affidavit. But then once you give an affidavit, that person will appear. He will not come. Why? So same person, how can he appear for everyone? So that kind of situation, once an affidavit has no value at all unless and until the person affirming it is prepared to depose before the authority before whom you was to use it. Affirmation, merely giving an affidavit is not of any value. The person affirming it has, especially in the format of affidavit, I don't know whether any of the laws specifically suggest that, but according to me, it should mention, I am making this affidavit for these reasons, for this purpose, and I am prepared to depose the same facts before the authority in person whenever I am called for. That specifically it should be mentioned. Usually I do that, because then only the affidavit has got any value. And you should mention the authority, I am relying on this affidavit. What happened? In one very peculiar case, ultimately I had to go up to the High Court. This is one person, he went to file returns and all. And before filing returns, he wanted a loan. So small fellow, ITA, he started doing some job work. Lady luck smiled on him. He started getting good work. The person who was giving him work, he said, why don't you start your own small job work? Then I will give you more work. He started that, he wanted loan for that. He must have approached some professional. So his returns were filed and everything was done. Unfortunately, what happened? In one of the years, for some reason there was no attendance and 144 order was there, and all the creditors were added. The person who was showing 1.5 lakhs, 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs rupees income, around 70 to 80 lakhs addition was there, because on 31st March certain outstanding was there, and this 144 order. So when it went to CAT appeal, what happened? 144 order was there, and I think something happened and the appeal was delayed by around 9 to 10 months. 9 to 10 months, and this person filed an appeal, and professional was supposed to attend, and for some reason he didn't attend. And once last notice came, he attended, then CTF asked there is a delay. He said, he asked him whether any calamity, anything was there in your family. He said, yes, my mother passed away. Sometime he must have given some date. Okay, he said, my mother passed away, so I couldn't file the appeal. The CIT appeals called for a report because naturally, because some claim is there, then you will go back to the assessing officer court. Then when they reconciled, assessment order was passed say November 2013. Mother had passed away in November 2012. So he said, how do you say 1 year earlier? Not at all justified, dismissed. Professional was in a fix. No, this entire edition is without any basis because creditors had. Meanwhile, what happened? He had produced certain additional evidence. So, assessing officer, CIT appeals was kind enough to send for a remand report. In remand report, this person attended and got a favorable remand report saying that all those parties, 133.6, I verified, subsequently paid, no creditors are outstanding, this entire thing is genuine. Remand report, CIT appeals said, but this, your condonation application, whatever you have stated is totally wrong. I am dismissing your appeal in limine. This person filed an appeal in 98. That was in time. Meanwhile, that professional poor fellow passed away. He was no more. Now this SSC was in a, what to do? He came to me. When I looked into all these things, I said, you don't have a case here. What to do? You are ultimately CIT appeal says that you are not given a genuine reason. For 9 months, 10 months delay is there. What are you going to do further? We prepared an affidavit. When we prepared an affidavit, that is the one Rahul may be aware of. There is a tribunal's one famous decision too. One was earlier to that on affidavit what can be there, and thereafter my matter was there. In that matter he dismissed this also. Then we had to go to High Court. We moved an MA also. In High Court when High Court understood what point we are trying to make. We are not accusing anybody. We said this is a mistake happened. High Court said yes, when it comes you should do. In affidavit what they are stating, we have to look into in the context of that and verify that. If he is stating something, if it is not proved otherwise, then you have to accept it. That's exactly what in one of the slides earlier I have mentioned, 30 ITR, Mehta Parikh says, unless and until the contents of the affidavit are proved otherwise. So now again, we'll go back to the same position. Onus is on the SSC. Once you give an affidavit with the facts and everything, and suppose the person is proposed to depose also, the burden of proof shifts to the assessing officer. Now on the basis of the affidavit, assessing officer to say that whatever is the contents of the affidavit are right or wrong or whether he is accepting or not. If he doesn't do that, he doesn't deal with the affidavit, then he has to accept it. That is the value of affidavit. But coming to, before going to that extent, you will have to exercise all these procedural points what I mentioned. And one more point, whether it is affidavit or it is a statement or anything, one general rule, many high courts have also said that the entire document has to be looked into. The assessing officer cannot look at one part of the document and say which is favors his case, he can go to that extent only. Beyond that, he will not consider. It is true with respect to all the documents. For that purpose, also you can use 30 ITR as well as there is one 254 ITR Gujarat High Court which says that you can't say only this part of the document you will use. If certain thing is there, you have to bring it to the notice of the appellate authorities. And this case laws we have mentioned for the sake of like section 68, 69, what is the position I have given. And usually there is a concept of dumb document. Documents are usually dumb only. We can like we always say that there should be a speaking order. And usually the speaking orders speak everything else but the relevant thing. So when a document becomes dumb, which has got all the figures, but there is no corroborative link to that, then you can, dump the document as a dumb document. Anyway, that is not, I'm just mentioning it, I have given the case laws. And statements made under different sections have got different ramifications. Like I was earlier referring to 133 capital A, 132 such proceeding, there is a statement regarding 132.4. There can be a statement recorded on 131. Usually 133.6 only calls for information and documents. No statements there because it is not required. No personal attendance is required. Now what is the, especially this issue comes under 131 whenever it is statement is recorded. There if any statement is recorded, you have to be careful. You have to see that who has administered the oath. There is a procedure to administer oath, and there is a qualified officers only can administer oath. Anybody cannot administer oath. And suppose a statement recorded during the course of the survey. That is not a statement which binds the assessee. At the same time, it will have a persuasive value. It cannot be discarded as such, but it can't be the only final thing. As suppose you say that yes, I have made a disclosure because of this. Now subsequently you come across, your auditor says that no, what you have stated here is only across receipts, but there is an expenditure. You say that this cannot be the income. Now whether that amounts to retraction or whether that has to be specifically retracted, for that purpose only the distinction of 133 capital A, 133.4 may be very relevant for professionals, but 133 capital A cannot be a conclusive proof for making any addition. The kind of sanctity, evidencity value the 132.4 statement has got will not be attached to this. I have given the case laws here. While dealing with 132.4 also, there is a circular which was issued by the board. While carrying out survey and search, the assessing officers or the officers who are carrying out, instead of insisting for a statement or a disclosure, they will try to collect more information or material evidence to show that what is the undisclosed income. And only 132, the state disclosure made cannot be the reason for making any addition or concluding that this is the income of the assessor. And there is a Bombay High Court decision, especially in the case of if there is a statement recorded and subsequently retracted, can such a statement be used in some other SSC? Suppose a third party has searched takes place, he gives a statement, all these people to whom I have dealt with are actually not my genuine transactions, all of them are bogus transactions. Can that such a statement be used? Which statement was subsequently retracted? So Bombay High Court says that cannot be done. One more point here. Usually what will happen, in that case there is a retraction. Suppose there is no retraction, what will you do? Are you going to accept that position? Under the law, Evidence Act, first what you should do is, because onus is on you, you start collecting all the material to establish the genuineness of your transaction. And you say that this is what is mine. Many a times what happens is, without giving our side of our material evidence to assessing officer, that you have asked him, your ES statement is there, you give the cross-examination. No, before doing that, let us do our homework properly. Give our material evidence, put it on record, and then ask for that. Without doing that, if you do it, because mostly in many cases, I think people will deal with it subsequently, they may not be in a position to give you any cross-examination. Then what happens? Appellate authority may say that he has not given, so what? You have also not given anything. So I will presume that you don't have any material. So that thing you have to counter, because onus never shifts. The basic thing is only burden of proof shifts. So that you will have to discharge the initial onus, and then burden of proof you can shift to the assessing officer. Now, Ketan wants me to deal with a certain reassessment procedure. One or two things. Reassessment. This is a concept of finality under the direct access. Once 143.1 is done, and before 143.2 lapses, the time for issuing 143.2 lapses, then assessment cannot be reopened as a consequence. Then he has to satisfy the condition precedent under section 148.1, that is, he has a belief that certain income has escaped assessment. Now this has to crystallize on the basis of a satisfaction which is put on record in writing, that we call it reasons recorded for issuing 148.1. Thus reasons recorded give the entire scope of the proceedings and entire basis of the proceedings. He can assume any jurisdiction under 148.1 only on the basis of valid reasons recorded. Suppose he gets an information, there is a revenue audit objection saying that this particular thing is there in the return, you are not looked into, nobody has looked into the no assessment, so take a recourse. He keeps that thing on record. The revenue audit has mentioned such and such and thing, so I have got a belief that there is an escapement of income. According to me, we should always think, or you should always prefer to challenge it, not by way of writ but in appellate proceedings. So keep the 292BB in mind and protest. 148.1 comes, write a letter, seek the reasons recorded, after put your objections. After objections, he may not dispose of your objections or whatever you give under protest only. Once you give under protest, 292BB will not come in the way when you want to challenge them. Suppose just collecting information and without recording his satisfaction. When the word satisfaction is there, satisfaction is not information. He gets an information, then he has to apply his mind. Usually for application of mind, I say that you should live your life as an assessment order, because there is no application of mind. Without having very serious thing in a lighter way, I say. So application of mind means what? Once the information comes, then he has to put in. These are the transactions, or this is the reason why I seen that. Otherwise, merely because around 7-8 years back, there was when this shoe scam was there. One particular SSC's name was mentioned in the police report, because his name was also there in the books of one of the people where economic offences being has taken, EOW has taken an action against them, where this SSC's name was also mentioning. But this entire scam was in the shoe, wherever shoe manufacturers were involved. He was dealing with leather product, but never with shoes. So this thing, when we pointed out, there was no, I have never dealt with any shoes at all. So it is a question of my getting involved in this. So then at appellate stage, the entire reopening was knocked off, because there is no link, because just because you have gotten information, you are recording a reason. That is what Lakhimal, Keval, all these cases are there where under 103 ITR we say that there should be live link between the reasons recorded and the SSC material information gathered by the assessing officer. He has no need to establish that there is escapement, but there should be something which suggests that there is a reason to believe. I will, first thing is, the procedure part is GK and drive shafts is there, where lays down the procedure once you issue notice. Unless and until you file, respond to 148(1) by either saying filing returns or saying that my returns, earlier returns will be treated, you don't get a right to ask for the reasons reported. If you don't respond, you will not get a right. The moment you do that, I have given another, case law, Gujarat High Court, where Gujarat High Court has given what is the time limit and all they have provided. Let us better stick to such a position. Otherwise, there is Madras High Court decision which says that you can't challenge 148(1) at all. You have to come through only appellate proceedings. I don't agree with that. I think after that also Bombay High Court has entertained many writ petitions. And as a service, while dealing with the service of notice, how it is to be served and all I have mentioned. Now, as far as 148(1) is concerned, usually they are issued in the end of the month and then served subsequently. Please note it. Suppose it is beyond a reasonable period. You find that the notice is dated 28th or 30th or 31st of March and you are being served in the month of June or July. Then you can very well challenge it. Here I will try to again go back to section 27 of the General Clauses Act. General Clauses Act, what it presumes is, suppose it is issued and it is given to the postal authorities. Then postal authorities are acting as an agent of the SSC. So it treated to be served on the SSC within due time. Suppose this is issued and kept in file, never sent to the postal authorities. Then what happens? And after suppose 2 months, 3 months, he wakes up and says that no, I am sending it. Can also he say that I have issued? No, he has not issued that. If he just signs a notice or makes an entry in his order sheet and keeps in his file, there is no evidence that within the prescribed time he has taken it to the post office for sending it. Very well challenged. In this question, wherever there is a 31st March mentioned, be very careful, collect the information from the under RTA when it was procedure for service was carried out. Issuance means what? Because Punjab and Haryana High Court does the reason I said I may not agree completely with that because for this reason. Because then issuance is not something which he is going to sign and keep it in your file. No, that is not. He has to take the proceedings further. If he has not done it, then we can very well try to challenge it. And for 148(1) I have done, actually this is one case law which I have given with respect to 344 ITR, more relevant with the service of notice and issuance of notice. Another point, 357 ITR, Supreme Court in the case of Chabil Das said that once assessment order is passed, suppose you file a writ petition also, you challenge it and assessment order is passed, then no writ jurisdiction sustains. For that purpose I have given this. Anyway, that is not, we are into assessment, so I will not, just for the sake of information I have given. I have given this Madras High Court decision also where they have said that in the writ jurisdiction you can't challenge it, you have to come through only appellate proceedings. Now, as far as reasons recorded and the challenge to that, I think anything further, is there any specific question I deal with that. And one thing is that when you have got two kinds of time limitation, there is a 143(3) order in the original proceeding and subsequently 148(1) is issued. Then once 143(1) order is there, then he has to record reasons recorded. They have to be valid reasons recorded. For that purpose, Prashant Joshi's case is there. It doesn't have any element of escapement of income. Our income could not have been assessed.